Welcome to Biodiesel Magazine's top stories for late June. I'm your host, Jacob Noterman. The EU reached a deal on a revised renewable energy directive that sets new targets for renewables. The provisional agreement calls for energy from renewables to account for at least 32% of the EU's gross final energy consumption in 2030, with an upwards revision clause by 2023. For biofuels, the agreement states that at least 14% of transportation fuel must come from renewable sources by 2030. First-generation crop-based biofuels are capped at 2020 levels with an extra 1%, but cannot exceed 7% of final consumption of road and rail transport. In addition, the share of advanced biofuels and biogas must be at least 1% in 2025 and at least 3.5% in 2030. Food crops such as palm oil that result in high indirect land use change are to be phased out through a certification process. The European Biodiesel Board had mixed reactions to the outcome, stating that by keeping crop-based biofuels such as biodiesel stable at 7%, the agreement recognizes their importance for the EU's transport mix. The organization states, however, that EU biodiesel producers fear being penalized by unjustified limitations and caps on the use of food-based crops and wastes to produce biodiesel. The EBB says it considers those limitations as excessive and indefensible, particularly those based on non-scientifically demonstrated indirect land use change theories. NATSO, the national association representing the travel plaza and truck stop industry, launched a new business venture known as the Alternative Fuels Council to help fuel retailers leverage the resources necessary to learn about and incorporate alternative fuels into their supply offerings. The Alternative Fuels Council will work with members of the truck stop and travel plaza community and other fuel retailers to navigate the litany of state and federal fuel regulations and to utilize available government incentives for alternative fuels, including the Renewable Fuel Standard. Among its initial offerings, NATSO's Alternative Fuels Council unveiled a new biodiesel fuel quality plan designed to help those who blend, market, and distribute biodiesel blends ensure the final product that they sell to consumers meets a minimum standard of quality. As part of this plan, the Alternative Fuels Council will help facilitate fuel testing and analysis for marketers. Through the program, those who blend, market, and distribute biodiesel can access a step-by-step guide to the blending process. The guide directs users through fuel quality management, including sampling procedures, protocols, and proposed schedules to help ensure that alternative fuel meets the required ASTM fuel quality standards. Prices of conventional soybean meal have come down significantly since the beginning of May. Ample supply from Brazil, favorable growing conditions in the U.S., and the escalating trade dispute between China and the U.S. are putting downward pressure on prices. Since their annual highs at the beginning of May, soybean meal with 48% protein fell 14% to 363 euros per metric ton, or about $382 per short ton. Soybean meal with 44% protein fell 16% to 333 euros per ton, or roughly $350 per short ton. Nevertheless, prices are still around 18% above the level seen 1 year ago. However, the market outlook continues to be bearish. To view these stories in their entirety or for more news, features, or data from the most respected and viewed biodiesel site in the world, visit biodieselmagazine.com. See you next time.